Hello everybody and welcome back to Chess Diagnostic. So I'm trying to get my setup here, but first, before I get into any of these puzzles here, at least this one puzzle, I want to look up how to pronounce lichess. And I think on YouTube there's actually a video, so let's see. Stop screen. All right, we're going to figure out how to finally say lichess. How to say... I keep saying lichess. All right, how to pronounce
So
lichess.
I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to edit. Okay, so here's my essay, and I'm going to click through Grammarly suggestions.
Lichess. Lichess. Lichess.
Lichess. Okay. All right. Lichess. Lichess. All right. Stop sharing that one. Let's get back to the puzzle. Oh, where did it go? All right. Here we go. Share screen. All right, so we're back on this one. Oh, this is the wrong one. Let's see here. Harmonica Hangout. All right, I gotta figure out how to look up, let's see, puzzle dashboard. Puzzle history. Okay. All right. So it says I failed this one because I was actually demonstrating. All right. So let's go through this one. Obviously, if you move this knight here, then the queen would just checkmate on c2. But you can basically take here or go here and threaten a mate in one, and then he has to take. And yeah, okay, so if you take with the... Oh, that's weird. So he checks... Oh, I see. So if you take with the king, he'll take, and then your queen's pinned. So you want to take with the queen there. He can take... but then you can just move the queen somewhere like that. And you keep your queen. Alright, so what other moves would you consider? I guess you can consider here, but then, of course... that prevents, or that's prevented from the queen checkmating. You wouldn't really want to check here because then he could just check you and you'd have to come back. You could just take the pawn because if he checks, then you just bring it back or you move your king up. But yeah, it's most logical when your queen and your knight are around the enemy's king, just from a general perspective, to try to look for some mating threats. All right, let's see. All right. Now, I want to get into talking about basically, should you only study tactics until you are 2100? Somebody asked that on a YouTube comment. And I think it's an interesting question because for a long time, I was basically only into tactics, just studying tactics. I thought, you know, you can basically get really far by only studying tactics. But the problem with that is that, all right, so the problem with only studying tactics is that when you only study tactics, you miss, obviously, the whole scope of chess play, which is openings. Endgames can be very tactical, but there's a whole general understanding that you have to have in order to play. Now, I will use as an example myself when I went to play Millionaire Chess. For about 4 months, I really got away from the only study tactics perspective, and I started studying chess structures, which is I think by Mauricio Flores, a a Latin American grandmaster. It's a really good book, but more importantly, I started developing my own opening repertoire, and I was just looking at games in order to get a general understanding, and I would say I would not have won the Millionaire Chess Under 2000 section if I had only studied tactics. Now, the reason for that is that when you're playing in a tournament, you have to have a certain level of opening knowledge, and you have to be able to play the middle game when there's really nothing going on, and that's the problem with tactics. Now, the good thing about tactics, and the reason they're recommended above all else, especially for players under 21 or 2200, is that it's active analysis, and that's why they're so effective. But you can apply active analysis to any position, as I was saying yesterday. All right, so since you can apply active analysis to any position, let's just go to this tab that I'm sharing. All right, so let's say Kramnik says that studying bullet is for retards, basically. All right, so let's look at some blitz games. So the blitz here, view the games. So there was a really annoying blitz game that I played yesterday. They're really, really annoying. Otherwise, I played well. But let's look at this game. So you really want to. Well, I'm just going to start the computer here. All right. How do I go down here? That's not going down. Okay, let's pull up. Oh. Okay, I guess I can't see the computer thing when this is running for it. It's not letting me go down. All right, let's just start at the beginning, though. All right, so let me turn that arrow off. I think I do that. Okay. So I was black, and I just played this standard opening. This looks like a queen or an Indian defense. I was going to say a queen's gambit somewhat. I don't really know the names of this, but so the main thing is I'm a little trapped, but this is a big mistake when he plays c5 instead of maintaining the tension. All right, so now the reason for that is, well, I could go back, but I went here, and the reason for that is it allows me a very quick e5 push, and if he does that, then, well, it's saying he has an advantage now, so obviously I misevaluated that. But in terms of playing this, especially how he played it, all right, I play f6. All right, so as you can see, I completely misevaluated this position. But I'm pretty sure I was won at one point in this game. All right, so I do have some opening knowledge that I don't know in the Indian. So this is how you can use your analysis to improve your general understanding. As you can see, the computer is saying that. All right, so that is correct. That c5 is not the best move. Oh wait, what am I talking about? I'm black. Okay, so my evaluation was correct. All right, sorry, I'm having to look at this tab here. I'm closing these tabs because I'm getting confused. All right. Let's see here. All right, so let's evaluate this from a general perspective. So it's saying minus basically 2 for black. Now, why would that be? I would say because white is pretty underdeveloped. He does have the 2 bishops, but so do I. And again, this e5 push is coming. All right, so I brought the knight up, threatening e3. Queen there. So I played pretty solidly. He drops a pawn. All right, I check. Close off his bishop. I bring the knight in. Now, he just makes simple threats, and this is basically where I went wrong. Brought up the took, he pinned it. Now, any other move that I made would have won. And I saw this and said don't play it, but I just hallucinated because obviously the rook doesn't protect, so I did take with the knight, and then he checkmated. Yeah, I just moved too fast. So this is an example of where you could say that it's a tactical error, but really it's just an error of not blunder checking the position. So a lot of times what appear as tactical issues in a game is not necessarily that you didn't understand something, it's more that you didn't apply it. So the root cause of it is you need to understand what went wrong in my thought process to allow me to make that blunder. Now, some people would say that if you just go through, a million one move mates, then that'll solve the issue. But I haven't had that in my experience, and I've played many games, many bullet games, and I've solved many one move tactics, and I found that the 80-20 rule, it's not very effective for the time invested. It's much more effective to work on a conscious thought process, and even if you do it slow, what happens when you play is that it gets into your subconscious, and if you keep applying consistently this thought process, then when you go to play a game, you do it automatically, and what that means is you're applying everything that you learn. Now, the problem with just trying to blitz out tactics, and I've talked about this in previous videos about like Puzzle Rush, is that when you do that with a puzzle, then you develop bad habits where it's, I didn't recognize the pattern, and because I didn't recognize the pattern, then I made a blunder. You shouldn't be playing that way because that's how blunders happen. This was not a lack of pattern recognition. I did see that I was pinned. I could have just played something like rook here, and then queen back, or even the computer saying just bishop to f3 is good too. So any other move, and I was completely winning at one point, or really through the whole game. All right, so let's go back earlier. This is how you can learn a lot, even from blitz games that you lose or win. Okay, so it's even to here. All right, I want to see what opening this is. Knight's variation. All right, and you can also look at your opponent's mistakes too and see how their lack of activity leads to their position, or you can figure out where you went wrong psychologically, because a lot of chess is psychological. I think Judith Polgar was saying that. She gave some certain percentage that I can't remember. But it's very interesting because a lot of the problems in chess that people make, or a lot of the blunders that they make, is more psychological than just some knowledge. And it's psychological because you'll look back and you say, I normally would not make that blunder. It's so simple, it's so easy. And this is a perfect example of that. And of course, it's going to happen way more in blitz games. But I found I actually play pretty consistently, and I play pretty well even in bullet or blitz games. My main problem is, of course, other than time trouble, is that I might play a little too passively and stably instead of becoming very aggressive when there's an advantage. This one I did pretty okay. Obviously, I have a big advantage, and I did miss that tactic, which keeps it even. But yeah, I probably would have, let's see. Yeah, I probably would have just brought the rook here, protect that pawn. I could even double up on g7. Oh, that's an even better move, actually. Rook here. So see, again, I missed some more active move, because then the rook could come over here, the knight's still protecting g7. I don't know how to do arrows on this computer yet. All right, and then bring the bishop in. All right, so let's look at one more game here. If y'all have any games that you want to send in, you could just drop them in the chat, and I'll look at them as well. Okay, so let's look at a bullet game. I've been in a bullet slump here, and let's go here. Let's see. All right, so maybe I don't want to look at when I lost to an 800. Where's the game list? Maybe it's up here. All right, view the games. All right. Yeah, sometimes I play late at night and I just drop a bunch of games. But let's look at one. There's one. I want to find one where I lost, though. Okay, well, here's a good one. I got to play Chess Network. I didn't even realize that. All right, let's see how I did here. I think I completely fell apart in the end. All right, so I was white. He played a Caro-Kann. Was able to keep parity. All right, stable. Take. Is there any other move? I was wondering if there's any other move than this. Yeah, just take. See, this position, all right, so another thing is you can take a position that you're uncomfortable with. I wouldn't say I was uncomfortable with this, but I had no plan. And those are the positions that you really want to learn and look at because, again, tactics is not going to help you there because in this position, is it really tactical? Not necessarily. These are the kind of positions right here where you can start going wrong because you just have nothing to do. And as you can see, I just moved the bishop back. All right, let's see what the computer recommends. All right, it's saying A3, A3, rook. Let's just see where it leads here. All right, so not too far off from what I did. Just brought the bishop back, rook. All right, so chess network, he did get a little more active. I moved the bishop. I get the knight there. All right, at least I activated some of my pieces. All right, that was definitely a tactical blunder, and Chess Network missed it. As you can see, so he's almost 2,800. I think he's like a strong national master. And even if there's basic tactics, that doesn't necessarily mean if you miss them that you're not playing well in a game. Again, I made a basic tactical blunder. He missed it. All right, and then I finally saw there's a fork there on f6. Now, you could say that, Chess Network's level, much higher than mine, or even my level, we should not be missing these basic tactics, but it shows the opposite argument is that you can be 2,800 and still miss one-move tactics. So, of course, tactics is always this underlying base layer in chess, but it shouldn't be the only thing you study is my point, I guess I'm saying. And I wasted a lot of time. I think I would have improved a lot quicker when I was younger if I actually developed an opening repertoire and just didn't, basically you always work on tactics. Maybe you do a warm-up, but there's definitely diminishing returns is all I'll say about that. All right, so he takes. I felt I wasn't too bad here, but strategically it's really bad according to the computer, and now I see it because the knight comes here, and there's really no way for me to defend. I have this backwards bishop, this weak pawn. All right, so strategically this is pretty bad. In a long game, this would be very bad. All right, so I thought he made a tactical blunder. All right, so I missed that the knight was here because I thought the queen and the rook I would basically win a pawn. So that didn't work out for me. All right, now it's down time. So I just kept moving here. Oh man, that's pretty funny. All right, so the rest of this game is just very bullet, obviously. But you can, other than just stupid time trouble, which you could still analyze as seeing where you misunderstood. Rest of this game is just dumb, so we can move on. All right, so let's look at one more thing, and I want to go to the analysis board. I just want to show, so when I learned an opening line for the Millionaire Chess, it was basically the Sicilian. So I basically did, what is this here? All right, so I did e4, c5, knight here. And let's say they go here. I can play here. Let's say he plays there, go there. Basically, we're trying to get to a Sicilian dragon. He might bring this out here. Now let's say he goes here. Now this was the line that I was thinking of, is just this, where you bring two bishops out, check. And I actually won 3 games in a row in the final because I knew this line that my opponent didn't. And now he can play here. Computer's saying a4, but I would just go here. Very simple, supporting the bishop. He could take, or I check. Or he just castles. I castle queenside, and then if he goes here, the main idea is that if he takes with the pawn, it looks like most players would play takes with the pawn. And yeah, here we go. So push, he takes, and now because the bishop's pinned, you can take. If he moves the queen here or anywhere else, then you basically win another pawn. And so he has to go here, you take. And then as you can see, I really like this position because it's much more active. And it looks like I've had multiple wins in this. Let's see, this was from 2 days ago. Yeah, so if you learn just, an opening idea, you're not going to get it all the time, but when you do get it, then, it improves your overall understanding as well. So I would say if you're going to use that time to analyze a tactical position, you might as well use some time to analyze a specific opening line, which you're not going to get all the time. All right, so let's see how this game went. All right, so I sacrificed. This is a common idea. Now, he does have the 2 bishops, but because of that, all right, he takes. All right, so I was probably lost at this point. I must have made some tactical blunder there. Takes. I could have went something like here, obviously. Yeah, so I missed bishop to f5. All right, he gave me the piece back. All right, then he made some... Well, I made another tactical blunder. He missed that. All right, so not the best of games, obviously. But even if you know a line, you can make tactical blunders in it and learn from it. So, create your own tactical puzzles from the opening lines you learn, I would say. All right, so this will conclude this stream. Hopefully... Yeah. All right, cool, you're here. Yeah, so hopefully that's a little bit clearer. I'm kind of discombobulated with this, covering a lot of different positions. But yeah, if there's any other questions about that, about basically studying tactics and stuff, of course you should always study tactics. But what I would recommend, just to finish this off, is just do a warm up. Like do like 5 puzzles or whatever. Maybe take 15-20 minutes, and then you can move on to studying other things. You could focus, another idea is to focus on one topic for like 6 weeks. So, do endgame puzzles for 6 weeks and then move on to openings. It should always be active analysis though, especially. All right, so thanks for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.